Welcome back to Azimuth Podcast. I'm here with my wife, Kimberly McNabb, and I'm Barrett McNabb. So, Texas has arrested thousands of illegal immigrants at the U.S.-Mexico border as the state expands powers to arrest migrants. Now, let's set the stage. We have had almost 2 million border interactions with illegal immigrants coming across the southern border. And it's not just Texas, the southern border, so Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, California. And we have over a few thousand people just sitting on the opposite side of the border that have already gotten there. But we also have another caravan of people, thousands and thousands of people that are forming at southern Mexico to make the trek. And they're very jubilant. They're carrying signs, they're playing music and things like that. So not some of the things of asylum seekers because they just have a horrible life. These people are having a good time. And Texas has said the federal government, it just is not doing enough. Now, these are statements of fact that the federal government's not doing enough. This is not open for debate. You keep having the Biden administration saying that the border is secure. Clearly,
yet they do nothing. They're gaslighting people.
Yeah, I mean, we'll just keep putting up these photographs of just thousands and thousands and thousands of people coming over every day, and this is not a racial issue. A lot of times people are saying, "Oh, you're being racist just for Hispanics," but you are having Russians, Ukrainians, Chinese, Haitians. Yes, there are Latinos that are coming across as well, but
they're actually getting to be more of a minority of the people coming.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree. So the federal government is not doing their job. I feel that Biden has betrayed his oath of office in order to support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. So I'm not necessarily saying that this is an invasion, but they are foreign. They're not American citizens, and he should be prioritizing American citizens over people that are sneaking across the border when there are legal ports of entry available. And that's the huge difference. And I think attorneys always say that's a distinction with a difference. And so if we did not have any legal ports of entry, obviously that might be a different conversation, but we do have legal ports of entry, and we're talking about people crossing the border illegally in the hopes that either they get in or they just get caught. And they all have kind of the same talking points. I'm here, I'm in danger in my country, and I'm seeking asylum. And once they say that, they're coached to say that. Once they say that, then it triggers a bunch of protections due to international law and things like that. But what Texas is doing is they have passed a law, and it goes into effect when, Kimberly?
March, but they've already arrested many people. So how do they do that when it's not in effect until March? Yeah,
so this is genius. What state of Texas has done, and this is the DPS, the Department of Public Safety, operating under Operation Lone Star, which Governor Greg Abbott has been running for a number of years. But they have gotten together with property owners and ranch owners along the border, and those ranchers have said, look, there's people that are coming across my land and they're trespassing. And so by preemptively saying anybody that's coming on my land is trespassing, property rights say that the state of Texas can arrest them. And I think it's a great idea. I mean, it's a great idea because, again, these are not people that have come through the legal ports of entry and gone through customs and talked to an ICE agent at the border. These are people that are going across private property, sneaking into the United States.
Yeah, and if the federal government wanted to argue, well, it's a federal border, but, why would it make a difference if the property owner's piece of land is on the border or if it's an Amarillo? Like if they're in Amarillo, there would be no question, which is north part of Texas. Oh, they're trespassing. Well, they're also trespassing on the border. It's their land. They paid for it. Again, back to the point of, they pay for something. They should get it. They
should have protections.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, no, I agree, and so the difference is Texas in this particular instance is not necessarily protecting the federal border or protecting the state border. They're protecting individual property owners, and by having these people trespass, they can be arrested. Now, the law that goes into effect in March is going to give the ability for law enforcement to also just arrest, even if they're not on private property, just if they are an illegal alien that has crossed the border, not through a port of entry. The judges, the state judges in the state of Texas will be able to deport those people as well. Now, let's talk about that. So there's already been a number of lawsuits by the ACLU saying that this violates their due process and things like that. You're wrong. You're just wrong on that. They are coming in illegally and they're trying to sneak in. And so I don't think that it applies. I mean, the federal government's job is supposed to do this. If the federal government can't do it or is unwilling to do it, the state of Texas is stepping up. Now, let's talk about other laws. So you have states like California, Oregon, Washington State, Colorado. They've all legalized marijuana, right? As a state, they made a decision to legalize marijuana. Federally, marijuana is illegal in the entire United States of America. But the states are choosing to ignore federal law and set up these marijuana dispensaries. And so if a state can do that, then why can't Texas enforce its border and ignore federal law and get rid of these people?
I'd say mic drop on that.
Yeah. I mean, any of the states that are saying that this is inhumane, you're already violating federal law. So you should all be arrested, honestly. I mean, every single state legislator that voted for it is technically conspiracy to commit drug dealing. I mean, that ultimately is what's going on with that. So as far as the judges, what the federal government needs to do is they need to deputize and federalize these state judges in order to allow them to take the load off of the current federal judges, that are immigration judges, that have a caseload of 4,000 people per judge. 4,000 people per judge. And these judges, they're not appointed like a permanent federal position. It's actually kind of a job. And so the Department of Homeland Security and DOJ is looking at hiring more judges in order to take this caseload off. But I would say, why not just deputize federal judges, or state judges, to be able to take some of this caseload, because Texas is going to do it anyway with their judges. Also, I think a great plan would be to deputize and federalize military officers. When I was an officer in the United States Army, I sat in and was the judge in multiple Article 32 hearings where you had a prosecutor and a defense attorney arguing cases, and I was the judge, and I would adjudicate on my recommendations to give to the chain of command in order to whether or not to prosecute this person or what. And so the U.S. Officer Corps, doesn't matter what branch, but I was in the Army, but the U.S. Army Officer Corps is capable of making these determinations. So I don't see why you can't deputize military officers and power through this caseload and take care of it. I mean, a lot of times people that are sneaking across the border are counting on the fact that it's a long caseload.
Oh, yeah. And they could be long gone.
They could be long gone. And yeah, you may get deported, but it's years before your case gets heard. And then you can make this argument, well, I've set up a whole life here. I've been here 10 years. Why send me home now? And I think this would be a good way to do it. But Texas keeps doing inventive things. They put these floating barriers to stop people from coming through these areas, and people are saying, the ACLU and things like that this is just inhuman and cruel in order to stop people from coming. And There's even a news article that I read about that it's cruel that the wall is too high. It's 18 feet, and the article insinuates that that distance was deliberate in order to break the ankles of people that climb over the wall, and when they hit the ground, that they break their ankles.
Well, hello. These people decided to cross illegally. They could see how tall the wall was.
Right.
They knew that. I mean, come on. If you have a functioning enough of a brain to get you to the top of, how tall is the wall?
18 feet.
18 feet. Then you know there is a risk that something is going to get broken. I mean,
Right.
Come on. Treat people like adults.
So now these people are going into the medical industry and medical health care, and we're having to provide health care services for these individuals. We've talked about this before. The purpose of the wall and the purpose of the floating barriers is to divert people to the legal port of entry. Yes, it's supposed to stop you from coming over at that port or that point, but if you go to the left or to the right or to the east or to the west, you're going to run into a legal port of entry, and that is what the walls are designed to do, is just to prevent you from sneaking across. There is no wall at the legal ports of entry. There is no barbed wire at the legal ports of entry. There's no floating barriers at the legal ports of entry.
Yeah, I view the idea of a wall, the border, as like the zigzaggy, rope lines going into a security checkpoint at the airport. Like, you can come in, we just need to make sure you're not dangerous first.
Yeah, in the military, we use those concrete barriers just like that. It's called a chicane, and it's meant to obviously turn people, which is an Army tactical task, but to turn people to go the direction that you want them to go. And that's the same thing as those rope barriers.
Yeah, people are coming through your front door. They're probably, meaning well.
Right.
But if someone sneaks across your gate or your wall, like a lot of rich people in River Oaks have these walls around their homes, if someone's climbing the wall, it's pretty safe to assume they're up to no good if they're not coming through the front door.
Right. We're a nation of immigrants, and immigration is good, but it is definitely not fair to people who wait in line in their home country, apply for either a work visa or a residency card or things like that, and they have to wait in line sometimes for years, and they get here and they get a green card and things like that, and they're great stewards. Now, again, immigration is awesome. The United States needs legal immigrants. With the fact that our birth rates are going down, we do need more people in the country. But
we just need to make sure you're a good person first.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, with all of the open borders and we have data on who is being caught. We don't have data on who has gotten through, and according to a news article I read, a rancher in Arizona is saying that he has seen on his property MS-13 scouts. And MS-13 is an El Salvadorian terrorist organization, criminal group. They're extremely violent. In fact, I want to say a lot of their initiations is you have to chop somebody up with a machete in order to be initiated. There was some unfortunate teenagers that were killed by MS-13 up in the New York State area. And I mean,
these are not people you want trespassing on your lawn.
These are not people you want trespassing. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And he's seeing them. And these people are scouting positions, because you have to remember that this is an organized operation. This is organized crime to get these people across. Now, it was kind of interesting when Donald Trump had a news press conference, and he talked about the coyotes, and MSNBC and NBC and CNN all made fun of him, like, coyotes are coming across. I mean, don't be stupid. Don't be stupid. Coyotes are the slang for the people that are doing the human trafficking. And so, but they all pretended they didn't know what that was, and that Donald Trump was silly for talking about coyotes coming across the border. Don't be stupid. Don't be that person. It's slang for the people that are committing these crimes. times getting people across the border. But this is just another thing where Texas is leading and stepping forward and doing the right thing. Leadership is hard, and Governor Abbott is doing the right thing, and he's doing it because the federal government is failing. So we wanted to bring this to you.
Yep.
Thank you so much, and please stay tuned after these messages.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for listening. If you enjoy our show with all the stories we share, we would love your support.
And it's as easy as clicking that subscribe or follow button. This will ensure you never miss an episode and keeps us bringing you these important stories. Your support makes a huge difference. Thank you so much for being part of our podcast family.
Thanks, and keep tuning in.